forced to live with a murderer among them and a life that was lost in a horrendous way. On the night of the crime, 24-year-old Jensen was found dead, DNA under his fingernails, the only biological trace of his attacker at the time, yielding no match, and the case went cold. But today, we are no longer facing a cold case. Instead, we have a defendant, Morgan Remy, who is a security guard at Jensen's workplace. Through genealogical searching, base police investigation, and multiple warrants, law enforcement was able to match the DNA under CJ's fingernails to Morgan Remy. You'll hear from Officer Ronan of the department's cold case division. He gathered evidence from a crime scene and then got a tip that led to a warrant and a lawful search of Morgan's apartment, where they found a unique ring that Jensen was missing when he was found brutally murdered. You'll hear from Frankie Moyo, who voluntarily uploaded his DNA into a private genealogical site similar to Ancestry called Gene Heritage. He did not learn any revealing information other than he was related to someone. This left numerous possibilities regarding who he was related to. What information did Gene Heritage actually provide Detective Sala with? What did it not say? The defense will try to say that Morgan's constitutional rights were violated, but we will show that good old-fashioned police work was what ultimately led to the arrest of Morgan Remy for this heinous murder. We will show you today that there were no unreasonable searches. Remy's rights were not trampled nor violated because he left incriminating evidence at a crime scene. The defense will try to tell you today that Detective Ronan Salah went on a grand fishing expedition. It was a massive invasion of privacy. The reality is that the police already knew Morgan Remy's name. This expedition merely shifted focus to him.
Thank you. Would the defense care to make an opening statement? You may proceed when ready.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, we are here today in order that certain rights, which we hold to be self-evident, are not trampled upon. The defendant, Morgan Remy, had his DNA, his most personal and private information, uploaded to a public site without his knowledge or consent. Furthermore, as you will hear from the detective Ronan Saleh today, every DNA sample in the Harmony Cold Case database was sent to this public site, a genetic ancestry site called Gene Heritage. He uploaded every single case. Now, all of these samples, all of these people, have their DNA out on the internet without their consent. Today, the defense is going to prove three things to you. Firstly, that Frankie Moyo, the student who exposed Morgan Remy, was ignorant of the repercussions of her actions. Secondly, that this company, Gene Heritage, receives financial grants and works with the government on a regular basis, and so is subject to the Fourth Amendment. Thirdly, that our basic fundamental right to our own DNA needs to be protected. We have multiple witnesses here today that will test House Bill 12, a proposed law to be added to Buckeye state legislation. House Bill 12 very clearly shows us that without laws in place, our genetic information can be stored, shared, or even sold with minimal transparency and consumer control. Once our DNA is out on the internet, it cannot be taken away or changed. It's not like a bank account number or password that can be changed once compromised. Once shared, that information is forever ruined. The prosecution will try to defend the investigators for cutting constitutional corners. They want you to look the other way, to the investigators trampling on the Fourth Amendment in the name of potentially solving a crime. Do you see the justice and privacy that the court system tries to uphold with the Fourth Amendment, which prevents unreasonable searches and seizures in a future where any coffee cup or water bottle you throw away can be stripped of your DNA, uploaded to a genetic history profile, and analyzed without your knowledge or consent? There is a reason why genealogical sites like this have terms and conditions, because people need to be informed of what this action will do. However, Frankie Moyo admits today that she did not read these carefully, and Morgan Remy did not consent to a form like this. With Ronan Saleh's unreasonable actions uploading every single cold case to Gene Heritage, this isn't just about Morgan Remy. It's about all of those people, and in reality, all of us. With the precedent this case will set, we can all be subject to the same investigation if it is ruled lawful. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, we ask you to carefully consider the dangerous precedent that this case will set if the uploading of Morgan Remy's DNA to Gene Heritage is declared lawful. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Polos, would you move the stand for me? Thank you. As he sets up that stand there, as the witnesses come up, I'd like to give you a little information. The witnesses have about 5 to 10 pages of testimony, a sworn affidavit, that they're bound to. So when you hear them ask questions here today, the witnesses are kind of bound by what was in that statement. Now, sometimes they might just not recall something from that 5 or 10 pages, so you might see them struggle a little with that from time to time. But they're not making these answers up out of thin air. They're coming from a bound statement, an affidavit, a sworn statement that was made about their knowledge of the case. So that's where their information is rooted. The attorneys obviously have access to that, and that's where they're basing their questions out of. All right. Would the prosecution care to make their case? Would you like to call your first witness? Who would you like to call? Ms. Moyo, would you please take the stand? Ms. Moyo, get comfortable, adjust the microphone to your liking, and I remind you that you are under oath.
Okay.
Okay, testing. All right. Please state your name to the jury.
Frankie Moyo.
How old are you, Frankie?
I'm 19.
What is your occupation?
I'm currently a freshman at the Buckeye State University studying science.
Can you explain to the jury why you are here today?
Well, in one of my classes, my professor gave out an extra credit assignment involving DNA. All we had to do was send in some DNA, and they would notify you when you had a relative.
Just 1 second, Ms. Miller. Can you guys hear her well? Okay, thank you. Continue.
Why did you partake in this assignment?
I did it for 2 reasons. I wanted to boost my grade from a B+ to an A-, but mainly I wanted to find more about my biological family and any health risks that could come from that.
Can you walk us through the process of your DNA upload?
Yeah, so there was only one free site we could use, which was Gene Heritage. Of course, I used that one. They had a simple sign-up process after you sent in a saliva sample, and I just clicked the I agree box at the end of the terms and conditions.
Was Gene Heritage the only option?
No, there were several, but Gene Heritage was the only free option.
So, were the students forced to use Gene Heritage?
No, they weren't forced to use Gene Heritage or to do the assignment at all. It was extra credit.
Ms. Moyo, could you please refer to Exhibit B and Exhibit C? They'll be on pages 116 to 120.
Move that as you need.
Frankie, can you describe to the court what you were looking at?
These are the Gene Heritage's terms and conditions and Gene Heritage's law enforcement use policy.
How many pages are the terms and conditions?
They're 5 pages.
Frankie, can you please read the first paragraph of Exhibit B?
By using Gene Heritage's genetic testing and related services, you agree to these terms and conditions, which incorporate by reference our privacy policy, law enforcement access policy, and other guidelines as updated from time to time. Continued use of company services indicates consent to these terms.
Can you explain what the I agree box is?
Yeah, so at the bottom of all those terms and conditions that no one reads, there's a little box that says that you agree to them, and when you check that off, that means that you've agreed to those terms and conditions.
Frankie, did you agree to these terms?
I did.
Were you aware of what this DNA submission entailed?
I was not, and I don't remember anyone saying anything about it before the assignment.
So, if you knew law enforcement was receiving information, would you have submitted your DNA?
I'm a big supporter of using DNA to solve crimes, so yes, I would have still used the DNA.
So, to be clear, did you voluntarily submit your DNA?
I did.
What happened after your DNA submission?
Well, after that, I got a report saying that I had a 25% match, meaning I had an aunt, uncle, half-sibling, niece, or nephew somewhere out there. And then I also paid more to figure out what health risks I might have had.
Ms. Moyo, could you please refer to Exhibit D on page 121? Frankie, could you please describe what is in front of you?
This is my Gene Heritage report.
Can you please read out your genetic match for the court?
Shared DNA, 25% autosomal match. Relationship estimate, likely second-degree relative, grandparent, grandchild, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, half-sibling.
Did Gene Heritage specifically tell you who you matched with?
No.
There is not a listed name, address, or any contact information?
No.
So, outside of this criminal investigation, would this report give you any idea of who your relative is?
No.
How did you get involved in this investigation?
Well, after I got my gene heritage report, I was called by Detective Sala from the Harmony Police Department, and he told me how my DNA played a role in this.
When did the police contact you?
About 3 weeks after my gene heritage report.
When he called you, did he tell you who you had matched with?
No,
Did he give you a name, address, or any contact information?
no,
So, did Gene Heritage or Detective Sala reveal any personal information?
no.
What specifically did Detective Sala tell you?
Well, first he called to tell me about an internship opportunity. Then he told me news that was a little difficult to hear. He told me how my DNA had played a role in the investigation.
How did you respond?
Well, when I asked, I told him that I would support him and the Harmony Police Department.
So, to be clear, did the internship influence your decision to help the police?
No, like I said, I'm a big supporter of using DNA to help solve crimes, so the internship opportunity was nice, but it didn't influence my willingness to help.
If you only heard the bad news, would you have been willing to help?
Yes.
When did you find out that you were related to Morgan Remy?
After Morgan was arrested, I found out that the DNA match Detective Sala was talking about was Morgan's.
So, did Detective Sala ever inform you about Morgan specifically prior to the arrest?
No.
Frankie, had you known what you were agreeing to, would you have voluntarily submitted your DNA?
Yes.
Even if you knew this would lead to a grand criminal investigation?
Yes.
As you sit here and testify in court today, do you regret voluntarily submitting your DNA?
Not at all.
Can you repeat why you did this assignment?
Well, there are 2 reasons. I wanted to boost my grade from a B+ to an A-, but I mainly wanted to find out more about my biological family and any health risks that came with that.
Just one more question, Frankie. Do you know your parents' names?
No.
I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would the defense care to cross-examine this witness? You may proceed when ready.
Good afternoon, Frankie. I'm just going to be asking you some questions today. Now, you've been interested in science for quite some time, correct?
Yes.
You've even been taking a forensics class at Buckeye State?
Correct.
And you said you want to pursue a career in forensics with the Harmony Police Department.
I do.
And recently you've been offered an internship with the Harmony Police Department, isn't that right?
Yes, they said they were impressed with my resume and story.
Now, you were told that you were accepted as an intern around the same time as you were told about this case, correct?
Yes.
In fact, Detective Saleh, who is here as the prime investigator in this case, is the one who called you about this?
He did, yes.
So Detective Saleh, to your knowledge, was currently in an investigation.
Yes, but I had not been notified directly about that.
In this phone call, you were told that you had been accepted to your dream internship before you knew that there was an investigation going on that involved you.
Correct. They said they were impressed with my resume and story.
You're going to be working in exactly the department you requested, which is the most popular and hardest to get into.
That is the goal, yes.
You were told that the Harmony Police Department was excited to work with you and would try to get you into the forensics lab you requested specifically.
Yes, they did. They said they were impressed with my resume and story.
You were told that Harmony PD hoped you would support them.
Yes, they did.
That's a pretty big opportunity for a freshman in college, isn't it? Were you
Yeah.
excited for this opportunity?
Yes.
And you were told...
Counsel, you asked 2 questions there. If you're going to ask a question, please allow her to respond. You asked 2 questions. Could you go back and re-ask them and give her a proper opportunity to respond?
Yes, sir. Were you excited for this opportunity?
Yes, I was, and still am.
And you were told all of this at the same time as you were told that your DNA had been tied to the case Detective Saleh was currently working on?
Yes.
Now, as someone who wants to work in forensics, you've taken some classes about it and have some knowledge of it.
Yes.
And in your extra credit assignment, you used Gene Heritage to look into your genetic background.
Yes, I did. It was the only free site.
Do you remember accepting the terms and conditions for Gene Heritage?
Yes.
And you described them as laborious and said that no one reads the digital shrink wrap.
Yes, there were a lot of pages.
And you admitted to not reading them carefully, correct?
Correct.
Could you please turn to Exhibit C and tell us what it is?
This is the law enforcement use policy.
And there are 2 whole pages on the subject, are there not?
Yes, there are.
And you've said that these terms and conditions were on a separate page from the main terms and conditions?
Yes, they were. You had to separately go in and click that you agree to these conditions as well.
Even as a student heavily interested in DNA forensics, you missed or did not read a whole 2 pages about that very topic?
No, I did not because I was not paying attention to them. I was trying to get through to the next part of the sign-up process.
Interesting. Let's move on to your family. You are adopted, correct?
Yes,
And of course, you would be interested in your biological family, right?
correct.
You even you reached out to state records to see if you could access your adoption file when you turned 18. Isn't that right?
I did.
But didn't your parents fill out a denial of consent form?
They did, yes.
So your parents purposefully filled out a form so you would not know who they were.
Yes.
Was finding your biological parents part of your motivation to do your extra credit assignment?
It was part of it. It was not wholly my motivation, but yes, it was part.
But you did say earlier in this case that it was that you mainly wanted to dig into your biological family.
Correct, and any health risks that could come from that.
Now, after you did the extra credit assignment, as previously stated, you were told about the case we are discussing today,
Yes,
and your DNA match led to the arrest of Morgan Remy.
correct, but I did not know that at the time. They only told me it was a 25% match. I didn't know until Morgan was arrested.
But you now know who the defendant is, correct?
Correct, yes, after this investigation.
So as a result of government involvement, you have new information regarding your family.
Yes, now because Morgan has been arrested.
Even though your parents specifically signed a form that meant they wanted you to not find out who your family is.
Yes,
You've also stated that you now have a starting point to build your family tree and maybe find other family members.
I could, yes. It's a very small starting point that I have now.
You stated that you can now dig further into your biological family,
I could, yes.
even though you were aware that your parents signed a form saying they do not want you to discover who they are.
Yes, but I could also try and figure out anyone else that there is, not necessarily focusing on my biological parents.
But that information could lead you to your biological parents, correct?
It could.
And you would not have this knowledge without the investigation involving the defendant.
No,
So finally, you would not have this link to your family without government involvement.
no.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution care to redirect? You may proceed.
Frankie, in the phone call with Detective Sala, were there any names revealed to you because of your DNA sample?
No.
After your phone call ended, were you bothered that your DNA was used?
No, I was glad it was used. I felt like I was able to do something and help in some way.
Did Detective Sala or anyone else reveal your parents' identities after the investigation?
No.
Just to clarify, do you know who your parents are as you testify here today?
No.
Do you know which side is related to Morgan Remy?
No.
Frankie, did you voluntarily load your DNA into Gene Heritage?
I did, yes.
Do you have any problems, as you stand here today and testify, with your DNA being shared with law enforcement?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense, would you care to recross? Yes, Your Honor. You may take a moment if you need it.
Frankie, even though there were no names revealed in your call with Detective Saleh, you now know the name of the defendant, correct?
Yes, now that we have been through the arrest of Remy.
Ms. Moyo, even though you don't know who your parents are at this moment, you do have new information regarding your genetic family, correct?
Yes, even though I do not know which side or any information relating to how we're related.
Ms. Moyo, were you aware before turning in your DNA to Gene Heritage that it would be used to inform law enforcement?
No, but I still agreed that it could be used.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down. Thank you, Ms. Moyo. Would the prosecution care to call any other witnesses? You may proceed. Who would you like to call, Mr. Van Wingerden?
Officer Ronan Solo.
Officer Ronan Sala, please. Mr. Sala, make yourself comfortable. Get the mic close to you. Adjust the stand as you need. I
Okay.
remind you, you are under oath. You may begin whenever you're ready, Mr. Van Wingerden.
Introduce yourself, sir.
Ronan Sala.
What do you do?
I am the lead investigator for the cold case division of the HPD since 2005.
What did you do leading up to this job?
Initially, I was a patrol officer. Then I got promoted to detective in 1995. And then ever since then, I've been the lead investigator of the cold case division.
How long have you been employed in your current position?
20 years.
How long have you been working with the HPD in total?
For about 35 years now.
Explain why you're here today.
We are here for the murder of Jensen, which we found DNA at the crime scene and uploaded to Gene Heritage, which is a free genealogical site.
So regarding the cold case, can you explain the case prior to being labeled cold?
Yes, Jensen was found murdered in his house in 2000, and we only were able to get DNA sample from underneath the fingernails, and there was a very unique gold signet ring that was missing.
Mr. Van Wingerden, I apologize for interrupting. I'm getting word here from our live stream audience. Could you pull the mic a little closer to you, and Ms. Felty as well? Make sure the mic's a little closer. Some people are having trouble hearing you on the stand. Sorry, Mr. Van Wingerden, you may continue.
Did the law enforcement in any way know who killed CJ Jensen?
No.
Was there anything that was left behind?
Yes, DNA underneath the fingernails.
Was there anything missing from the scene?
Yes, the family pointed out that there was a very unique golden signet ring that was missing.
Did they ever find the unique gold singlet ring during the investigation?
Not at the immediate time, no.
What did the original detectives learn about the DNA found under CJ's fingernails?
Can you repeat your question? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
What did the original detectives learn about the DNA found under CJ's fingernails?
That it was, they didn't know who the person was at all, and they couldn't figure out, so they uploaded it to Gene Heritage.
Was CJ's very unique gold signet ring ever found during the original investigation?
No, it was not.
What did they do with the DNA after they found it?
They uploaded it to CODIS, which is a FBI's national database for DNA, and yeah.
Regarding the investigation, when did you first become involved in the investigation of CJ?
And well, he was born in 2000, so 2005 is about the time I did it, yeah.
What happened after 2018?
Well, in 2018, we reviewed it again, and then, yeah.
What was known about the case when you first reviewed it?
There was unknown DNA samples. We didn't know who the person's DNA that was under the fingernails, so we hired a genealogist to help us out. Contract genealogist, to be exact.
What did you do after reviewing it?
Like I said, we hired the contract genealogist to help us build a family tree, and we moved forward from there, yeah.
What made you do that?
Because we wanted to make sure who killed our friend, C.J. Jensen.
What evidence from the original investigation stood out to you?
Like the original case, the DNA underneath the fingernails and the unique gold signet ring that was missing.
What did the original detectives learn about the DNA found under CJ's fingernails?
They had no idea who it was, so then they shelved it until around 2005 when I picked it up, and then they shelved it again, and then 2018 when we reviewed it again.
What event in 2018 brought new attention to the case?
2018 is when the law enforcement found the Golden State Killer. And then the NFA instructors actually added in a session about IgG to the attendees so that they could use it in cold cases with unknown DNA samples.
What kind of matches did you receive in the years after 2018?
There was a 25% match in 2025 that could be a uncle, aunt, niece, or nephew from Frankie Moyo's DNA sample that they uploaded. He uploaded, she uploaded.
What did you do when Gene Heritage gave you a match?
We went to the court and asked for a warrant.
When Gene Heritage gave you a match, did it include a name?
No, it did not.
Was Morgan Remy a potential suspect in the beginning when you first submitted the DNA?
Yes, he was.
Why was he a potential suspect in the beginning?
There was many different things that could lead to him being a potential suspect.
What happened that led to him coming up as a potential suspect?
There was an altercation between him and C.J. Jensen, and then later that day, he left his shift early without telling anybody of why he was leaving.
Did you only rely on Gene Heritage in this arrest?
No, as I testified, I would never solely rely on a Gene Heritage match in an arrest.
What led to the first warrant that allowed you to swab Morgan's cheek?
We felt like Morgan was our guy, so we wanted to get him a swab.
You ended up getting a second warrant. What information did you receive to get that?
That the DNA from the cheek matched pretty well with the murderer of C.J. Jensen.
What did the second warrant allow you to do?
Search his apartment.
What did you do when you got a warrant to search Morgan's apartment?
We went right there and searched his apartment for looking for possible evidence.
Did you find anything during the search?
Yes, we did. We found a very unique gold signet ring and 100% DNA match to the murderer of C.J. Jensen.
Was that ring the same as Jensen's that was lost during the case?
Yes.
Is your department paying anything to Gene Heritage?
No, this service was free.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would you care to cross-examine this witness? Buckle up.
Hello, Mr. Sala. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Just to start things off, did you hear?
Isaac, could you make sure you get the mic
Oh.
there? So
Of course, Your Honor.
you're quite tall. You'll have to move it up.
All right. Is that good? We're good?
It's up to you.
We're good?
Okay.
Yes? Good? All right, great. Did you hear the judge state today that we are not here for a murder trial? We are here on guilt or not here for guilt or innocence.
Correct.
All right. So you've been with the department for around 35 years,
That's what I said, yes.
and this case first started back in 2000.
It sure did.
That's when this DNA was collected?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Sala, you were not the person to collect this DNA.
No, I think I said that.
And when that DNA was collected in 2000, it didn't have any matches in the police database.
No, I said that.
Then you go on to take over and you inherit this DNA 5 years later.
Yes.
And then, Mr. Sala, that case is sitting on your shelf from then until 2018.
Yes.
In your own words, it went untouched.
Correct.
You attended a forensics conference, and is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you saw some pretty impressive DNA technology, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
And is that when you decided to upload this case to Gene Heritage?
Yeah.
And it was you that uploaded it to Gene Heritage, correct?
No.
Wasn't?
We need a clear response to the questions, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
It was you that uploaded?
Yes.
Because when you were directed, you said that they uploaded to Gene Heritage.
We hired they.
Okay. Thank you for being clear, Mr. Sala.
You're welcome.
Did you have a warrant for that?
No.
Did you ask a judge if that was okay?
No.
Interesting. But Mr. Sala, you didn't just upload this case, did you?
No.
You uploaded over 200 cases, correct?
Yes.
And was there a warrant for a single one of those?
No.
So just to be clear, you did not ask a single judge if dumping all of that DNA into Gene Heritage was constitutional or not.
Correct.
I'm assuming you have done your research on Gene Heritage and its terms and conditions?
Yeah, that's why I used them.
And in those terms and conditions, you must have seen that Gene Heritage cannot guarantee the validity of any samples they themselves did not collect.
Correct. No online services is always perfect.
Mr. Sala, Gene Heritage did not collect these samples.
Correct.
In fact, Mr. Sala, not even you collected these samples.
Yes.
From 2000 until 2018, in your own words, it went untouched as a cold case.
Yes.
And then from there, it went another 7 years sitting with Gene Heritage away from your supervision.
Yes, I said that.
In the course of over 25 years, this DNA, at minimum, changed hands 3 times and for several points was not looked at.
Yes, you're correct.
But you were aware of the disclaimer, correct?
Can you repeat your question? Sorry.
You were aware of the disclaimer about validity and about if they did not collect it themselves, they cannot ensure validity?
Yes, I was.
Because in your own affidavit, you did refer to it and said, quote, you did not care very much about it.
Yes, I didn't.
So you, the leader of the cold case division, threw out a disclaimer, said you did not care about it, and it was the disclaimer that warned about inaccuracies in DNA evidence. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Does that bother you, Mr. Sala?
No, not really.
Innocent people, lives on the line, you don't know who DNA that is?
Your Honor,
Grounds?
what is the relevance of that question?
I'm asking to his opinion of an action that he did.
Can you restate what he just said? I couldn't hear
I
him.
think you did not ask an opinion, you inferred an opinion, so I will sustain the objection. If you would like to ask a question or his opinion on it, please do so without inferring the answer.
I would just move on, Your Honor. Mr. Sala, when you finally got your match in 2025, you hit a snag, correct?
Yeah, I did.
You got a 25% match, which led you to Ms. Moyo, right?
Yes, I did.
But Ms. Moyo was adopted and the records were quite sealed.
Yes.
Both Moyo's parents and family wanted to stay anonymous. So they had sealed the records, they had sealed the records, correct?
Correct.
Do you believe that seeking privacy and anonymity is a respectable thing?
Yeah.
Do you believe that is reflected in your action of immediately filing to unseal those sealed documents?
Can be.
Objection, Your Honor.
Grounds?
Relevance.
I will overrule that. I think it is relevant. You may continue.
And Mr. Sala, you did not just expose Frankie's mother and father, did you?
Correct.
You exposed grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, uncles, half-siblings, nieces, and nephews, correct?
That is correct.
Got the whole family involved, right?
Yes.
All right, good. And you did not stop at this family, did you?
No.
You uploaded over 200 cases worth of DNA, worth of private records. Oh, sorry. You uploaded over 200 cases of DNA, right?
You're correct.
Just a
Relevance,
question.
Your Honor. Oh,
Objection.
objection, Your Honor. This is not about other cases. This is about the one we're here for today.
Your Honor, this case sets the precedent, in fact, and how this case is decided may very well be brought up in these other cases if they do get brought to court.
Thank you. I'm going to overrule the objection. I think it's relevant because it's been established by both the prosecution and the defense about the uploading of numerous cases, so I will allow it.
Mr. Sala, where do you draw the line? How many of these 200 cases would you unseal if they were sealed records?
Well, I think that the difference between this case and those cases is someone was killed. And so I think we pretty much draw a line. If there's a murder and there's a family out there of that person who got murdered wants to know who the killer of their child or loved one was, then I think they have the right to know who it is. Do you?
So, but in those 200 cases and more, There isn't any other murders?
Not that I can recall.
Is this not the cold case murder division?
It's okay. It's okay.
It is.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that real quick. All right, let's wrap this up, Mr. Sala. Most recently, we discussed how you unsealed anonymous adoption records, right?
Correct.
Of a family that sought to be unknown and wanted to stay private.
Yes.
But you just threw that privacy into the wind and immediately sought to expose them?
Yeah, because someone was killed.
Okay, no, valid. And I remind you, Mr. Sala, all of that because of an uninformed and uneducated decision of a 19-year-old college student.
Correct.
Now let's go back to the DNA that started this case. Gene Heritage's disclaimer, which you were aware of, states that they cannot guarantee the validity of any DNA not collected by themselves, correct?
Correct.
So let's look at the chain of custody, shall we?
We shall.
It is discovered in 2000, not by you, goes nowhere, then is passed off to you 5 years later, unused, untouched, and rather dusty for 13 more years. Then it is passed off yet again to Gene Heritage, where it sits under who knows supervision for another 7 years. Is that accurate?
Yes.
But as you said in your statement, ensuring validity does not mean much to you.
Correct.
And with such a roller coaster of a chain of custody, you sure proved it.
Counsel, that's not a question.
Oh, sorry. Question mark.
I'm going to admonish you. If you do that again, we will hold you in contempt.
Yes, Your Honor. And finally, Mr. Sala, when you finally did upload your DNA to Gene Heritage, it wasn't just 1 or 2 cases, was it?
No, we went over this already.
It was 200 cases, right?
Yes, like we went over this already.
Just trying to hit it home here, Mr. Sala. And did you have a warrant for any of those 200 cases?
No.
And besides a warrant, there was absolutely zero judicial oversight over any of that.
Yes.
Mr. Sala, that is 200 cases, 200 DNA samples, 200 lives, 200 families. And Mr. Sala, there wasn't a single warrant present, was there?
No.
Mr. Sala, how many legal loopholes and constitutional shortcuts are you willing to take to get around personal freedoms and privacies, all for the sake of closing a single case?
It's a murder case, so I'm trying to help this family out who their loved one is dead.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. I would like to remind all participants in this trial that civility is a must and we need to treat each other with respect. Thank you. Would you care to redirect this witness, prosecution? You may proceed.
Where did you get the idea to submit the 200 samples into Gene Heritage?
Because I'm in the cold case division.
You can continue.
No, I need him to pull the mic closer. I can't.
Oh, he says he can't hear your questions very well, so you can get the
Oh,
mic closer.
sorry.
Thank you.
Do you mean to re-ask it?
No.
Did you only rely on Gene Heritage in this arrest?
No.
No more questions? Your
Thank you. Would you order in the court, please? Thank you. Would you care to recross this witness? No, Your Honor. Thank you. You may step down. Thank you, Mr. Sala. Would the prosecution care to call any more witnesses?
No, I couldn't get the mic. We do not, Your Honor. We rest our case.
Thank you very much. Would the defense care to make a case? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any witnesses you would like to call?
Thank you.
Ms. Peters, would you take the stand? Ms. Peters, adjust things as you need to, and I remind you are under oath.
Can you please state your name for the court?
Haven Peters.
What education have you had, Ms. Peters?
I have a Bachelor of Arts from Buckeye Northern University, and I also have a Master of Fine Arts in Narrative Media Writing.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an independent podcaster and journalist with an emphasis in true crime and media ethics.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for over 5 years, but recently I've also been invited on other podcasts as well.
Have you gotten any awards for your work?
Yes. So my whole podcast as a whole has won a Webby Award, and then the following year, it has been nominated for another Webby Award.
In your work, do you have any particular subtopics that interest you?
Yes, I am passionate about warning people about the dangers of DNA evidence.
Do you have any experience with cold cases?
Yes, recently I have been reporting on 2 specifically.
Can you describe these cases to the court?
Yes, there is the Richard Knapp case and the Michael Usry Jr. case.
Can you tell us what happened in these cases? Firstly, the Usry case.
Yes. So police called in Michael Usry Jr. for to supposedly ask him about a hit-and-run incident.
You say supposedly. What actually happened?
Instead of questioning about the hit-and-run accident, they questioned him for 3 hours about a murder that happened 30 years prior.
Why did they think he was involved?
They had a partial DNA match from Ancestry.com, and they also had flimsy circumstantial evidence.
Did Usry himself turn in his DNA to Ancestry.com?
No, he did not. It was his father.
How did that case resolve?
He ended up submitting a DNA swab that cleared him of any suspicion.
Can you tell the court about the other case you studied, the Richard Knapp case?
Yes. So police found DNA from a crime scene, and they used that to get a pool of suspects.
What was he accused of?
He was accused of murder.
How was Knapp identified?
He was identified one day when he was going about his day, and he discarded a cigarette in the trash, and the police were watching his every move and retrieved it out of the trash.
Just briefly, how did the police get this DNA evidence from Knapp again?
They retrieved a cigarette that he discarded in the trash.
What happened next?
Next, he was held in custody for over 3 years while he awaited his trial.
What happened while he was in custody for this extended time?
His life fell apart. He lost his job, his reputation, his house, and even his wife passed away while he was in custody.
So to clarify, because of an investigation just based on DNA testing, Knapp was in custody for multiple years and lost everything?
Yes, he did.
Objection, Your Honor. This is an opinion. The witness is not an expert. It was not in the criminal investigation of this person.
Response?
Your Honor, while this witness is not an expert, she did study the investigation of these cases done by experts, and she's merely reporting on what happened, not her own personal bias.
Response?
Even though she might have reported and researched this, she was not in the direct investigation and therefore cannot speak for the people she is referring to.
I'm going to sustain the objection with the following parameters. You cannot ask her about her opinion of the case because she has not been established as an expert by this court. However, if you want to ask her about the circumstances, the case, or what happened, that is allowable. Is that agreeable?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand, Ms. Hopkins?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
How did this case resolve?
It resolved by they got a new lead, which turned the case in a completely different direction, and he was cleared of suspicion.
Let's move on. Do you know of any laws in place to regulate DNA investigation and genealogy?
No, the government is currently very behind on protecting our right to our own DNA.
Could you please refer to Exhibit A and tell us what you see?
This is the proposed House Bill 12.
Could you please read the section under the subtitle, The Case for HB 12?
Yes. Our genetic code is the most personal data any of us carry. It does not just reveal information about us as individuals, but also about our families, our ancestry, and even our potential health conditions. Unlike a credit card or bank account number, once exposed, our DNA cannot be changed or replaced. Yet while we have robust protections for financial and medical data, there's a glaring gap in Buckeye law when it comes to genetic information. HB 12 closes that gap by establishing a clear, enforceable right to genetic privacy.
And then could you also read the second paragraph under the title, "The Problem with Current Practices"?
Yes. What's more, consent in these situations is not as straightforward as it sounds. Privacy policies are long, technical, and subject to change. Consumers may not fully grasp what they're agreeing to, and worse, their choice can affect others. Because our DNA is shared with relatives, a family member's decision to submit a sample can expose an entire family tree to outside scrutiny without the knowledge or consent of everyone affected.
So just to clarify, when you reveal your genetic code, you also reveal parts of your entire family's genetic information, whether they consent or not?
Yes, by submitting it, it shows the entire family.
And is this the only law you know of that will be considered to protect DNA privacy?
Yes, that is correct.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance, even though this is not current law, this is a proposed law, and therefore is not subject to this trial today.
Your Honor, permission to respond? Your Honor, we're trying to show that there is a precedent of unprotected DNA rights, and House Bill 12 will show the gaps in the protection of privacy under the Fourth Amendment that we ought to consider for this case. Even though this law is not in place, it still shows where the law falls short with recent upgrades in technology.
Any response?
I still say that this is not current law and therefore is not subject to what we're learning right now. It is an interesting proposal, but this is not something that we could set our opinions on because it is not in place right now.
I would like to instruct the members of the jury then. Members of the jury, I think both sides have an adequate response to this. I just want to make this clear. I'm going to overrule, but I want to make it clear to the jury, this is a proposed piece of legislation. It is not currently in effect, nor was it in effect at any time in this case, but I'm going to allow you to explore it to point out some concerns you may have. Both sides fair with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may continue.
So the right to privacy of our own DNA is currently unprotected by any law?
Yes, that is correct.
What do you know about Gene Heritage?
Gene Heritage is a company that works a bit like Ancestry.com. You upload your DNA, and you're able to see your family tree, and for a fee, you can find medical trends.
Are you aware of Gene Heritage's policy regarding law enforcement?
Yes. So law enforcement have their own account that they are able to upload DNA from cases, and when they find a match, they are notified.
Are law enforcement accounts the same as regular consumer accounts?
No, they are not.
What do you know about the opt-out form in Gene Heritage's terms and conditions?
So the opt-out form is pretty hidden between all the terms and conditions, and you have to fill out an opt-out form for your DNA to not be used with law enforcement.
If you turn in an opt-out form, can another member of your family submit DNA and still expose your DNA?
Yes. So if an individual fills out an opt-out form and they do not want their DNA shared with law enforcement, one of their siblings could upload their DNA and accidentally not fill out an opt-out form, and that person's right to privacy is trampled upon.
How does uploading your DNA to a site like Gene Heritage affect others in your family?
They have no say in their right to their own DNA privacy.
Lastly, do police usually need a warrant to get DNA evidence from a suspect?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would the prosecution care to cross-examine?
I do, Your Honor.
You may proceed when ready.
Hello, Ms. Peters.
Hi.
My name is Molly Felty. I will be asking you some questions.
Okay.
Is it safe to say that in your research, you often draw from the Fourth Amendment?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Here, I'll move the mic down.
Okay.
Is it safe to say that in your research, you often draw from the Fourth Amendment?
Yes.
So you're aware that the Fourth Amendment protects Americans from unreasonable searches and seizures.
Yes, that is correct.
And you're also aware this only applies to governmental authorities.
Yes.
Gene Heritage portrays itself as a private company, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
You're aware that Gene Heritage was founded by Archer Morales and is also the CEO.
Yes.
Is it fair to say he considers this a passion project?
Yes.
You're also aware that he contributed to a lion's share of its funding.
Can you repeat that?
Are you aware that he contributed to a lion's share of its funding?
Yes.
And he continues to contribute to its funding, correct?
Yes.
Tens of thousands of people use Gene Heritage, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Are you aware that a majority of these people use the site for free?
Yes.
You're aware that the state of Buckeye does contribute up to $150,000 in public grants, depending on circumstances annually, correct?
Yes.
But isn't $150,000 a drop in the bucket in the operating expenses of a company as large as Gene Heritage?
I suppose.
Grounds?
May I respond, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
Ms. Peters had made it in her testimony that she has done a lot of research and she has looked into Gene Heritage, so therefore she does have knowledge of this.
I agree. I believe you opened the door under direct examination into her study of Gene Heritage, and I think she's pushing her way through that door. So I'm going to overrule that objection and allow the questioning to continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll restate the question. But is it $150,000 a drop in the bucket in the operating expenses of a company as large as Gene Heritage?
I suppose it could be, but that is still a lot of money.
But you do believe that it could be a drop in the bucket?
I wouldn't say so, no. I take money seriously.
You testified today that Gene Heritage's terms and conditions were hidden, correct?
Yes, I did.
Ms. Peters, are you aware of Exhibits B, Gene Heritage's terms and conditions, and C, their law enforcement policy?
You can look at them. That's fine. B and C?
Yes.
Yes.
And in Exhibit B, Gene Heritage does discuss a law enforcement policy, correct?
Yes, it does. One small paragraph.
But it does discuss one.
Yes, correct.
You're aware that Exhibit C is Gene Heritage's law enforcement policy, correct?
Yes.
So, in multiple areas of their terms and conditions, they outline their relationship with law enforcement?
Yes, but it's not a lot.
Yes or no? Do they outline these relationships?
Yes.
You read Exhibit C, which outlines the company's policy for law enforcement, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Peters, how long is Exhibit C?
It's a little under 2 pages.
Thank you. So, just to clarify, Gene Heritage's relationship with law enforcement is included in 2 different areas, one being only 2 pages?
Yes, that is correct.
Do you remember Frankie Moyo's testimony?
No.
Okay, I'll clarify. Did you hear her testify under oath that she agreed to terms and conditions?
Yes.
Are you aware that she testified under oath that she is still fully supportive of her DNA being shared with law enforcement?
Yes, but she is an example that she did not read the
I'm
law
sorry to
enforcement.
interrupt, Ms. Peters, but yes or no, did you hear her say that she is fully supportive?
Yes.
You believe that there are dangers in DNA investigation, correct?
That's correct.
Do you recall saying in your testimony that DNA uploaded by a family member is a violation?
Yes.
Ms. Peters, I would like to direct you to Exhibit D. Can you oh, sorry, I already copied that. Haven, can you describe what is in front of you to the jury?
This is Gene Heritage report.
Can you please read Jane Heritage's slogan in the first 2 sentences from the first paragraph?
The your DNA, your story, your
Yes.
family.
And then could you read the first 2 sentences, please?
Okay. The first 2 sentences of the first
Starting
paragraph.
with welcome.
Okay. Welcome to your Gene Heritage Report. Every strand of DNA tells a story, and this is the beginning of yours. Inside, you'll find insights into your ancestral roots, traits that make you unique, health indicators you may wish to explore further, and most exciting of all, the potential relatives who share parts of your genetic journey.
Ms. Peters, you mentioned the Michael Usry case in the direct, correct?
Yes.
Isn't it true that when his DNA was examined, Usry was ultimately set free?
Yes.
So, is it true that DNA can not only convict a person, it can also exonerate a person?
Yes, but in
Yes
that
or no,
ca-
Ms. Peters?
Yes.
Are you aware that DNA is shared?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Are you aware that DNA is shared?
Yes.
Is it possible for one sole owner to possess DNA?
No.
Ms. Peters, are you aware that this DNA is a witness to the crime scene?
Yes, I am. But that is not an excuse to trample upon the Fourth Amendment.
Ms. Peters, are you aware that this DNA is a witness to the crime scene? Yes or no?
Yes.
Are you really saying that this witness should be silenced?
Yes, because I'm a constitutionalist.
So you believe this DNA evidence should be silenced as
Yes.
the sole witness?
Yes. If it violates the Constitution, yes.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would the defense care to redirect?
Ms. Peters, does Gene Heritage get money from the government?
Yes.
Opposing counsel stated that, brought up Frankie Moyo's testimony today. Did you hear her testify that she did not read the terms and conditions carefully?
Yes, I did.
Opposing counsel also brought up that DNA could potentially exonerate people who were accused. Could it also falsely exonerate someone?
That is correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would the prosecution care to recross?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may.
Ms. Peters, are you aware that a lion's share of Gene Heritage's funds comes from its CEO and founder?
Yes.
Did you hear Frankie Moyo say that she is fully supportive of her DNA being supported and that she read the terms and conditions?
She said that she did not read all the terms and conditions,
But-
but she agreed to it.
So she did agree to the terms and conditions.
Yes.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Peters, you may step down. Thank you. I'd like to make a side note for what you just watched. It was very good from both attorneys, by the way. Please understand, when they do a redirect and a recross, when they do a redirect, they can only ask questions that happened in the cross exam, so they're having to think on their feet on questions. And the recross has to be about what was just asked in the redirect. So both attorneys did an outstanding job there, by the way, in the redirect and recross. And actually, I don't normally do this, but I would like to give you a little applause for that because that was very well done. Defense, would you care to call another witness?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Val Barak.
Val Varak, please. Val, thank you for dressing up today. It's true to his witness. It's good. Mr. Varak, make yourself comfortable, adjust the microphone, get the exhibits ready, and I remind you that you are under oath.
Hello, Mr. Barak. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Could you please state your name for the court?
My name is Val Barak.
And what is your occupation, Mr. Barak?
I am a 20-year-old student at Buckeye State University.
And what do you study there?
I am a declared pre-law student.
Did you take a forensics class there?
Yes, I took a forensics class with Professor Bailey Kim.
Could you please tell me about the extra credit assignment involving gene heritage?
Professor Kim had assigned us an optional extra credit assignment that we were to upload our DNA to one of the genealogy companies.
Were you able to choose which company you sent your DNA to?
Yes, but out of all of them, Gene Heritage had caught my attention the most.
Really? Why did gene heritage stand out to you?
Analyzing DNA is an expensive process, yet Gene Heritage offers their services for free.
Was gene heritage the only free service provided?
Interestingly enough, it was, contradicting to the other companies which had service fees up to $150.
And Mr. Barak, did you look into the matter any deeper?
Yes, I did. I went through and thoroughly read through the entirety of the terms and conditions as well as their law enforcement use provisions.
Did you find anything in reading that?
I sure did. It turns out, hidden deep in their terms and conditions, Gene Heritage actually promises to use any and all DNA from their consumers to aid in police investigation if requested by law enforcement.
Did you expect your DNA to be shared with law enforcement?
No, at no point did I ever expect my DNA to be shared with anyone.
And Mr. Barak, did you want your DNA shared with law enforcement?
Of course not. I don't know what they're going to do with that type of information.
And is there anything else that you discovered?
Well as private donors, Gene Heritage actually operates off a large portion off of government funding.
So gene heritage receives government money, correct?
Yes, that's why I believe they are able to use their services for free and use their consumers' DNA.
Is there any way to prevent gene heritage from sharing your personal information with law enforcement?
Well, there was an opt-out form.
To be clear, Mr. Barak, was it an opt-out form or an opt-in form?
It was an opt-out form. The default would be the user would be opted in. It would be a whole different other thing you would need to do.
Even if you were unaware of that, you would still be opted in?
Yes,
And the default would be that your information was shared with law enforcement?
that's correct.
Thank you. Okay, well, now please tell me about the opt-out form.
Well, I thought it was kind of hard to find.
What do you mean hard to find?
It wasn't like a checkbox or anything in their terms and conditions. It was a whole other form that you needed to pull aside and fill that out completely.
So the opt-out was separate from the terms and conditions?
That's correct.
How did you find the opt-out then?
Like I said, I read through the terms and conditions very carefully and found it like that.
Relating back to the assignment, did you participate in it?
No, I decided not to. Professor Kim, although making the assignment optional, I still in the end decided to keep with my answer and not do it.
Did Professor Kim inform you or your classmates about the law enforcement?
No, at no point did he ever mention this.
Did you bring up your concerns with Professor Kim?
Yes, I did. In fact, he actually allowed me to share my findings with the class.
Did you tell your classmates?
Yes, I did. Some of my classmates thought it was shady to have an opt-out form separate from the terms and conditions, and they were also finding it suspicious that they would use their consumers' DNA opted in by default.
Objection, Your Honor.
Grounds.
Hearsay. You can't speak for the whole class.
Response?
Your Honor, he was there, and he seems to be the one that broke the news to them, and I think that he saw what happened.
He can testify to what he did, but he cannot speculate as to what others may have thought or interpreted. So I'm going to ask you to re-ask the question appropriately if you so will. So sustained.
Your Honor, is it okay if I just move on from that question?
That is absolutely fine.
Was Frankie Moyo in that class?
Yes, she was.
Did Frankie Moyo say anything?
Yes, Frankie Moyle said maybe I should read things more carefully from now on.
Did you hear Ms. Moyo say today that no one reads the terms and conditions?
I did,
Mr. Brock, did that hurt your feelings because you read the terms and conditions?
a little bit.
I feel for you, man.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevant.
Hilarity? No. Sorry, I should not have done that. I apologize. Explain, Mr. Van Wingerden. Why do you feel it's not relevant?
It's not a question.
It was a question. I asked if his feelings were hurt.
I'm actually going to sustain it because his opinion on whether his feelings were hurt is irrelevant to what we're doing here today.
I shall move on, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Mr. Barak, on to a different topic now. Are you familiar with House Bill 12?
I am.
Would you like to share with the court what that is?
Is a recently proposed bill that will require companies that collect DNA to more guard that private sensitive information, as well as be more explicit on how they share and distribute that information to their consumers.
What do you mean, Mr. Barak?
Government officials are aware that DNA collection technology is an unregulated part of the law.
And are there government officials who believe that?
Yes, that is why the bill is being proposed in the first place.
Mr. Barak, why are they so concerned about making sure things like DNA privacy are regulated and protected?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. It's not relevant.
Your Honor,
You're objecting to two things, Mr. Van. And Mr. Van Wingerden, it's fine. You may consult with Molly if you'd like.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay, because he can't testify for the officers because they're not here today.
I never mentioned officers.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall the response here. What was the please repeat the question.
Are
for
there
me, Counsel.
government officials who believe this?
I will sustain that. He can't speculate as to what government officials believe. He can only testify to what he knows personally.
I say, this bill is proposed, though,
Yes, that's correct.
under the guise that DNA technology is not regulated in our current legal system.
That's correct.
Why are they trying to make sure things like DNA are so regulated and protected? What is the reason? Let me rephrase. What is the reason?
Yes, I heard the objection, and I'm going to sustain it. That's asking for him to, again, speculate to other people. You're asking why would they? That's causing him to speculate. He can answer to why he feels things are being regulated. So please make sure you reword the questions and follow
I'm
that
going to rephrase
appropriately.
that. So why is House Bill 12 being passed?
Well, our DNA is probably one of our most important pieces of information about us. It is essentially you. It has all your information about you. And as well as it being an unregulated area, it puts people's constitutional freedom at risk, which is scary and needs to be fixed.
Thank you. No further questions at this time.
Thank you. Would the prosecution care to cross-examine?
I would.
You may begin when you're ready.
You've testified today saying that you hope to become a defense attorney someday, correct?
I did.
You believe that defendants are sometimes treated unfairly by the legal systems as well, correct?
I did, yeah.
You were unhappy with the extra credit assignment Professor Kim offered in your class, right?
That's correct. I care about my privacy.
That experience affected how you view authority figures involved in it.
Yes, it is.
So moving to the assignment, Professor Kim's optional extra credit assignment gave you 5 options where you could submit DNA samples to, correct?
That's correct.
You could also choose a service of your own choice with approval from Professor Kim, right?
That's correct.
Gene Heritage drew your attention, so you took a closer look at the user agreement, correct?
Yes, I did.
You read that they shared their information with law enforcement, correct?
Yeah. Yes,
You also read that they have an opt-out form.
I did.
The opt-out form would still allow a user to use the service for free, but not allow the DNA access to law enforcement, correct?
How the information is presented to you, I cannot say, but yes, that's correct.
Could you read Exhibit B, number 4?
Which number?
Number 4.
It's on page 2.
Data sharing and law enforcement access.
The whole thing, please.
Okay. The company does not share users' personal information, including DNA data, with third parties except as described in these terms. Upon lawful request from law enforcement or through our law enforcement user program, the company may provide kinship matches. Users may opt out of law enforcement matching by completing the Gene Heritage Law Enforcement opt-out form, submitted contemporaneously with their sample. Forms submitted after the creation of a profile will be applied prospectively but cannot retroactively undo prior matches and notifications.
Thank you. Gene Heritage actually has multiple opt-out forms in their terms, correct?
That's correct.
And you could also opt out even after you submitted your DNA, correct?
That's correct.
Am I understanding this right? After the DNA is submitted, you could then opt out, and Gene Heritage will not give the DNA over to law enforcement.
That's correct, but how that information is presented again, I cannot say.
You had an opportunity to share what you found about Gene Heritage user agreement with a forensics class, correct?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
You had an opportunity to share what you found about Gene Heritage's user agreement with your forensics class, correct?
Yes, I care about everyone's privacy and rights.
To be clear, Frankie's in that class.
That's correct.
You shared with the class that DNA would be shared with law enforcement, right?
That's correct.
Was Frankie in that class during the time you stated that?
Yes.
So regarding HB 12, to be clear, House Bill 12 is only a proposed law, correct?
That's correct.
It has not been passed by the legislature,
No, it has not.
and it is currently not in effect in Buckeye.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
And it is currently not in effect in Buckeye.
Yeah, that's correct.
So we are here right now, and there is no Ohio law called HB 12 regulating genealogical companies, correct?
Grounds? I think it was a fair mistake. I believe he meant the state of Buckeye, but
Yeah,
we'll-
Buckeye, sorry.
Please repeat the question using the state of Buckeye.
Sorry.
Good catch, though, Isaac.
So we are here right now, and there is no Buckeye law called HB 12 regulating genealogical companies, correct?
That's correct.
Gene Heritage is a private genealogical company, correct?
I still believe they're funded by the government.
Is it privately owned?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. And it does not act as as a law enforcement agency, correct?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Can I go? All right, never mind. It is not owned or operated by the government, correct?
I believe
I
he's
believe
referring to
it's-
Gene Heritage not being operated by the government. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Is Gene Heritage operated by the government, is his question.
Oh, no.
And it does not act as a law enforcement agency, correct?
It does not.
Gene Heritage also gives you not only an opt-out free option, but also an opt-out option even after you submit your DNA, correct?
That's correct.
As a pre-law student and a detail-oriented person, you know that the Fourth Amendment only applies to government agencies and officials, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
The Fourth Amendment only limits the actions of government agencies, correct?
That's correct.
Why would a private company like Gene Heritage give you so many options to opt out of sharing the DNA to law enforcement if it was a government agency?
Can you repeat that?
Why would a private company like Gene Heritage give you so many options to opt out of sharing the DNA to law enforcement if it was a government agency?
Even if with that being true, the way how that information is presented, it can relate to it not being presented well, which can result to problems.
That's it, Your Honor.
No further questions. Thank you. Would the defense care to redirect? You may proceed when ready.
Hello again, Val. As you heard Mr. Van Wingerden say that.
Could you come a little closer to the
Oh,
mic?
sorry.
please?
Yes. Sorry, Your Honor. You heard Mr. Van Wingerden say that only government institutions are subject to the Fourth Amendment, correct?
I did.
You also said, however, earlier that Gene Heritage receives money from the government.
Yes, I said that.
Did you hear earlier today in this case that that it was mentioned $150,000?
Yes, I heard that.
Mr. Barack, does that make them an arm of the government?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Does it make them,
Objection, Your Honor.
Grounds?
Opinion?
Response?
if a company is receiving money from the government and supported by the government, they should be held to the same rules and
Okay,
regulations.
that is your opinion, response to the objection.
Oh, response to the objection. What was the objection?
That you are asking him for an opinion, and he has not been declared an expert in
Well,
this area.
he's a pre-law student. He studies the fact that what things are held to certain, what the Constitution
Sir,
affects.
he's a student, not a expert.
I'm actually going to overrule the objection because I believe you asked him a very similar question under cross-examination, therefore opening the door to this question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Because Gene Heritage receives money from the government, should they be subject to the Fourth Amendment, which regulates government companies?
Yes, they should be subjected.
And as you heard Mr. Van Wingerden say earlier, that House Bill 12 is just proposed, correct?
I did.
Counsel, that's the third time you've asked a leading question in this redirect. I'm going to correct you and say, please make sure you're not asking leading questions in a redirect.
Did you hear Mr. Van Wingerden state that House Bill 12 is, am I allowed to? Did you hear Mr. Van Wingerden ask about House Bill 12 just being Is House Bill 12 proposed?
Yes,
Are you aware that the Constitution can be updated and amended?
I am.
Are you aware that the reason that they update and amend the Constitution is because society evolves?
I am aware.
Do you believe a modern technology, such as DNA testing, is something that is a reason that it should be updated?
I do.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would the prosecution care to recross? You can take a moment if you need it.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed when you're ready.
You are aware that the state of Buckeye does contribute money through public grants, correct?
I am.
But isn't that, but isn't the amount that they contribute a very small amount compared to the money that they are worth or make?
It is true, but an amount is an amount.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barak. You may step down. Does the defense have any more witnesses to call? Do you rest your case? You rest your case. Thank you. At this time, we are going to take a brief 10-minute recess where members of the audience and jury can use the restroom while the two sides prepare their closing argument. We will reconvene at exactly 2:40, and I will make an announcement prior to that. You now have a 10-minute break. Members of your team, you may confer with your witnesses if you need anything to do. We have 10-minute recess.
Are we allowed to walk away?
You guys can use the restroom at this point if you needed to as well. Yes, please. Thank you. Very good.
when we're done, I'm putting you in charge of gathering a group of men to take the tables, the chairs, and the stand back to my room. So we're done, just recruit some people to get those down in my room. I appreciate it. Thank you for microphones. They'll take care of. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll need that to go back to RNC.
Thank you, Nikos.
Grab as many as you can get and need. Yeah, hey, all the chairs and tables go to, and this stand go to my room, and then that goes back to RNC.
All right, we call this court case back into session. We will proceed to closing arguments. Prosecution, do you care to make a closing argument? You may proceed when ready.
First, I'll test that this works. Can you hear me well? All right, good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, having received all the information, it is time for you to make your decision. But before you do, it's important to consider the facts of the case. The defense told you that Morgan's constitutional rights were violated. While we understand his concerns, Remy's rights were not violated in the slightest. I will remind you of the 3 pieces of information that deem this DNA collection lawful. Firstly, Frankie Boyo's DNA upload was voluntary, making a warrant for a DNA collection unnecessary. Secondly, a third party, not a governmental agency, revealed information to Harmony Police Department. Lastly, it was ultimately good old-fashioned police work that led to the arrest of Morgan Remy. All these 3 factors show you that this was a reasonable search. You heard Frankie Boyo testify that she voluntarily submitted her own DNA. She was more than willing to help the police because she believes in DNA evidence solving crimes. This was a voluntary upload. DNA evidence is intimate, but it is shared. It was her DNA to upload. Most importantly, Frankie Boyo agreed to these terms and conditions. She physically clicked the button. The defense tried to tell you that Gene Heritage hid its information and manipulated Frankie Boyo into consenting to sharing her DNA with law enforcement. However, this is far from the truth. It is not Gene Heritage's responsibility to spoon-feed information to its users. Gene Heritage did its due diligence in listing a terms and conditions section and even dedicated 2 pages to law enforcement. Is reading 2 pages that time-consuming? Above all, you must remember that Frankie consented to these terms. She frequently stated that she is fully supportive of her DNA being used to work with law enforcement. You are all aware of the 4th Amendment. The defense told you that a governmental agency shared information with law enforcement. However, Gene Heritage is not a governmental agency. We have shown you today that Gene Heritage is a private company. Gene Heritage receives a lion's share from its founder and CEO, Archer Morales. The public grants are merely drops in a bucket. Since a majority of this company is privately funded, the government has little impact over the company's operating expenses. Thus, receiving a smidge of public grants does not make you a governmental agency. If we consider Gene Heritage as a governmental authority because it receives funding, Open Door Christian Schools would then be a government agency. Does that seem right to you? Gene Heritage is a third party and is therefore not subject to the 4th Amendment. Thus, Gene Heritage aiding law enforcement in the collection of Frankie Boyo's DNA is lawful and reasonable. Lastly, you must remember that it was good old-fashioned police work that led to the lawful arrest of Morgan Remy. You heard Detective Rodensala walk through every painstaking step he took to ensure he was following the law, current law, not proposed law. He uploaded DNA into Gene Heritage, DNA that was left at the crime scene. Years later, he found a hit with no name provided. This tip led Detective Sala to look through this cold case. He consulted a judge that gave him lawful permission to unseal Frankie Boyo's adoption records, records that were never revealed to Frankie and still have not been revealed. It was police work that then brought his attention towards Morgan Remy. It was then police work again that led Harmony Police Department to records concerning Morgan Remy's heated arguments and sour relationship with the murder victim, Caleb Jansen. A judge then gave Harmony Police Department a warrant to lawfully collect a buccal swab from a consenting Morgan Remy. It was then another lawful warrant that allowed Harmony Police Department to lawfully search Morgan Remy's home, finding Jensen's signet ring. Harmony Police Department dotted their T's and crossed their I's. There was nothing else that could have been done to ensure a lawful DNA connection. The DNA found under C.J. Jensen's fingernails is the only witness to the crime. It has not been able to speak for itself for 25 years. If you side with the defense, you silence the DNA, you silence C.J. Jensen, and you silence justice. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you, we as the prosecution urge you, to rule this DNA collection as a lawful search.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Would the defense care to make their closing argument? You may proceed when ready.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury and the court, the Constitution.
Isaac, yeah, adjust the mic up a little. Sasquatch, let's get that set to Sasquatch.
Is that good? Am I good? Good?
Is that better?
Feedback? Good? Bueno? Ooh, thank you.
Whenever you're ready, Isaac.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury and the court, the Constitution does not bend for convenience, and it does not disappear simply because the government believes it has found the right suspect. There are rules that must be followed. This case is not about guilt or innocence or about a murderer, and I cannot stress that enough. This case is about whether or not law enforcement followed the Constitution. The Fourth Amendment draws a clear line. The government may not search or seize private information without lawful authority. In this case, that line was crossed long before a warrant was ever obtained. Firstly, the investigation began with an unconstitutional search. The police did not start with Morgan Remy. They started with a private genealogy database accessed for law enforcement purposes without any prior judicial approval. And as Ms. Moyo clearly demonstrated, she was woefully uninformed of what she was agreeing to. A recent 2002 trial ruled that terms and conditions can only be upheld if there is unambiguous consent, meaning being fully aware, which was absent in this case. Law enforcement used a private company's database to identify, narrow, and target a suspect, all without a warrant. That is not a hunch, that is a search. And under the Fourth Amendment, searches require reasonableness and judicial oversight. Neither was present here. Secondly, the later warrant cannot cure the original unconstitutional violation. The prosecution may argue that police eventually obtained a warrant for the buccal swab, but the law is clear. A warrant obtained after an unlawful search does not erase the original violation. The DNA warrant exists only because of illegal genealogical searches that came first. Without that initial search, there is no suspect, no affidavit, and no probable cause. This is classic fruit of the poisonous tree. If the roots are unconstitutional, then the evidence that grows from them is tainted. Thirdly, allowing this evidence sets a very dangerous precedent. If this search is allowed, then the government in the future will be allowed to search private DNA databases without a warrant, use relatives' genetic information to investigate you, and circumvent constitutional protections by outsourcing surveillance to private companies. The Constitution exists precisely to restrain the government when technology makes intrusion easy. The court's role is to enforce the Constitution and not the outcome. Courts do not and should not reward shortcuts. They should not excuse violations because the results are persuasive. They enforce the rules that protect everyone equally. If law enforcement can bypass the Fourth Amendment here, then no one's genetic privacy is safe. Not today, and surely not in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you today to be the gatekeepers of justice, that you will protect the rights of the people. For the course of American history, technology has evolved faster than the laws can keep up with. So I implore you to allow that to stop here and to let the law catch up. To let regulation be enforced before the constitutional freedoms that you love are lost. House Bill 12 is currently proposed and addressed to handle the issues you have heard today. But until such a bill is passed, I ask you that you take a stand against such invasive and easily corruptible measures. Ladies and gentlemen, policies change and politicians change. Whoever happens to be in power in the moment should not have so much personal information and access to you and should not be able to hold your lives in their hands. The prosecution has asked you to sacrifice the freedoms of the future of your country, all for the conviction of one singular man. To sacrifice the rights that make this country great. I ask instead that you see the big picture. I ask that you see the drastic consequences of siding with the prosecutions, the effects it will have on you, your children, and your children's children. I will end with this. The first three words of the United States Constitution are "we, the people." And today, I'm asking you, the people, to take a stand for justice, to protect the Constitution that has always protected you. I rest my case.
Thank you. Would the prosecution care to exercise their rebuttal? You may begin when you're ready. Too fat for that. All right. Is that a good height? Is that good?
Yes. When you enter a courtroom, you see the scales of justice. The defense wants you to see Morgan's violated rights as the prevailing scale. However, we urge you to understand why this side is not more justified. Instead, you must see that undergoing a lawful pursuit of justice for a 25-year-long cold case prevails. The defense told you that Morgan's constitutional rights were violated in the collection of this DNA upload. I will remind you that DNA is shared by thousands of people. Thus, no one has complete, full possession of it. I must remind you that the DNA obtained in the first place was left by Morgan Remy at the crime scene of Caleb Jensen's murder. By leaving his DNA behind at the crime scene, Morgan Remy disqualified himself from having any expectation of privacy. Harmony Police Department was investigating a heinous crime. The defense told you that Morgan Remy's rights were trampled. I ask you, what did the investigators do wrong? They were investigating a murder scene to hold someone accountable. They obtained a lawful warrant to administer a buccal swab for Morgan Remy. They obtained another lawful warrant to search his house. There were no cut constitutional corners. Morgan Rebbe did not have a target on his back. The police didn't seize evidence. Morgan Rebbe left DNA under Caleb Jensen's fingernails at the crime scene. This lawful swab connected him to the DNA. It was the lawful warrant to search Morgan Rebbe's house that led to them finding the missing signet ring that belonged to the victim. How are these lawful warrants an invasion of privacy? Ladies and gentlemen, the defense is grasping at straws. They want you to believe in proposed law versus current law, to catch up. If we keep hoping for a proposed law to catch up, we'll never get anything done and we'll always be fighting and there will be more law. The police did not cut any constitutional corners. Rather, they took every lawful corner and brought a murderer to justice. Ultimately, the police did everything to ensure that justice took place. Ruling in favor of a collection of DNA being unlawful is not justice. Caleb Jensen's family has been grieving for a grueling 25 years. That is a quarter of a century's worth of agony. Prior to this point, they were losing hope day by day, year by year. Don't let today, January 30th, 2026, be the day that their hope was permanently lost. Are we to believe that Morgan Rebbe's privacy outweighs the rights of a murdered victim? As I previously mentioned, you must remember to let the DNA speak for itself. It is a witness to Morgan Rebbe's heinous crime. This witness was lawfully collected and is the remaining voice for the victim. If this pretrial rules in favor of the defense, justice will never be served. That is why we urge you to rule that this collection of DNA was lawful. This end to a 25-year-old cold case will bring Harmony Police Department and Caleb Jensen's family closure. That is justice.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to ask the members of the jury to dismiss to the crossroads to arrive at their decision. Foreman Zane, when you have a decision, could you please deliver it to me so I may announce it to the courtroom? Thank you. While we await the jury's return, I will give the audience, if you have any questions you would like to ask about literally anything with the case, just direct who you're asking a question to so that they can pay attention and give you a response. Does anybody in the audience have any questions they would like to ask of attorneys, witnesses, or myself? Okay, some of you have to put your hands down because we can only take like a couple questions. Okay. I would like to make an observation. 25 years, this is my 25th mock trial, and it is the first time I have ever seen an attorney wear Doc Martens. That's new to my courtroom. You guys can talk quietly. I'm going to go ask the jury if they have any questions for me, and we will be right back with the decision. Yep.
The prosecution has great style, Your Honor. Hearsay because it's accurate or because it's not as stylish as yours? Wait, I'm deep in thought. I'm deep in thought.
Dot your T's and cross your I's.
No.
You did a math.
Oh no. I hope I did it. I hope I did it.
Hello? Thank you. First of all, before I announce the verdict, how about a big round of applause for all of our mock trial participants? As I mentioned, this is my 25th mock trial. This was, in my opinion, the way it was argued both sides was very even, and I'm glad I'm not the one that had to decide today, because I thought there was very well argued. I don't say that all the time, actually, but I thought it was very well argued. I thought our witnesses were truly outstanding today. If you guys understand, that's a lot of pressure to be a witness, because you're taking, basically, if anybody's ever acted, we're giving you a bio of a person, and then you have to become them. How would they answer this? And I thought our witnesses just did an outstanding job, especially under cross. They did a nice job of putting up fights where it would be applicable. So well done all around. In the state of Buckeye versus Morgan Remy, in our pretrial motion, we, the jury, find that Mr. Loescher is a very handsome man. That is a wise and good-looking jury. I have to agree with that. In all seriousness, we, the jury, find that Mrs. Loescher is an outstanding substitute teacher. She does so much. She's watching this, so right now that got me bonus points. I'm going to get a good dinner tonight. In a unanimous decision, the first time in the history of this, the jury has found to deny the defendant's motion to suppress the evidence and will allow
the information to be proceed into the future criminal trial. Congratulations to the prosecution. We're not done. We're not done. I know, it's the first time Johnny's ever won anything in his life, so he doesn't know how to react. You see how the tennis shoes match his tie? We have 2 awards to give out. It is my discretion to give out this award, but I do take the jury's input. This was enormously difficult considering our outstanding attorney and our outstanding witness awards. This is something you should definitely list, like when you're back here in a couple months at graduation and stuff goes up there and awards you win. This is one of those things you should put up there, okay? Because this is a big deal. Our outstanding witness award, I think this is the most difficult decision I've had to make because they were outstanding. There were 3 people that really, this could go any which way. So I'm going to lean with the jury. The jury selected this one, and our outstanding witness goes to Callie Mungle. In spite of having to work with Molly, you did a great job. And our outstanding attorney award. The bike died. The outstanding attorney award goes to. I'm going to go with the jury again because I thought it was pretty close. This is the jury's pick. Molly Phelps.
Thank you.